Inside, every person exists two versions, the one you show the world and the one you keep hidden. Your alter ego is that hidden self, the version of you that holds your true power, your raw potential, your unfiltered thoughts. Think of it like a superhero's secret identity. But instead of wearing a cape, this version of you wears absolute confidence, unshakable belief, and zero apologies for its power. It's not about being fake. It's about accessing a stronger, more authentic version of yourself that you've kept locked away. Most people confuse having an alter ego with being fake. But here's the truth. Your alter ego is actually more real than the polite, restrained version you show the world. It's the you that exists before social conditioning, before all those be nice and don't rock the boat lessons took root. When someone tells you to just be yourself, they're usually asking you to be the version they're comfortable with. Your alter ego? That's the version that makes them uncomfortable because it refuses to play small. Creating an alter ego isn't about making up a new personality. It's about stripping away the artificial limitations you've accepted. It's like taking off weights you didn't know you were wearing. Maybe your normal self hesitates to speak up in meetings, but your alter ego, it says exactly what needs to be said. Your regular self might worry about what others think, but your alter ego understands that other people's opinions are their problem, not yours. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more of who you really are. The process of developing your alter ego starts with a simple question. What would I do if I wasn't afraid? Not just physical fear, but all those social fears. Fear of judgment, fear of standing out, fear of being too much. Your alter ego is the answer to that question. It's the version of you that acts on pure instinct and clarity, unburdened by worry about fitting in or keeping others comfortable. This isn't about being reckless, it's about being real. When your alter ego emerges, people notice something different about you. The change is subtle but profound. Your voice carries more authority. Your decisions become clearer. Your boundaries become stronger. It's like watching someone switch from playing a part to directing their own movie. This shift makes people nervous because they can sense you're no longer following the usual social script. You're writing your own. The beauty of an alter ego lies in its protective power. When someone criticizes you, your alter ego understands they're just revealing their own limitations. When someone tries to make you feel small, your alter ego sees through their tactics. It's like having an emotional bulletproof vest. The shots still come, but they don't penetrate. This level of mental freedom terrifies people who rely on social pressure to maintain control. Your alter ego becomes your greatest teacher. Through it, you learn which of your so-called limitations are real and which are just stories you've been told. Can't speak in public? Your alter ego proves that's false. Not leadership material? Your alter ego shows otherwise. Every time you let this stronger version of you take the wheel, you discover that another can't was actually just a haven't yet. The intimidation starts when others realize they can no longer predict or control your responses. Your alter ego breaks their comfortable patterns of interaction. They say something designed to make you doubt yourself, but instead of shrinking, you grow stronger. They try to set boundaries for you, but your alter ego sets its own. This unpredictability makes them uncomfortable because it shifts the power dynamic. Suddenly, they're the ones feeling uncertain. As your alter ego grows stronger, you start recognizing the games people play. You see how they use subtle manipulation, social pressure, and unspoken rules to keep others in line. But because your alter ego operates outside these rules, these tactics stop working on you. It's like being able to see the matrix. Once you recognize the patterns, you can't unsee them. And more importantly, you can't be controlled by them. The ultimate power of your alter ego isn't in making others uncomfortable. It's in making you comfortable with your own potential. It shows you that you can be more, do more, achieve more than the limited version you've been playing. And yes, this realization intimidates people who prefer the old, predictable you. But that's not your problem to solve. Your alter ego isn't a mask you wear to hide. It's armor you wear to become more of who you truly are. Society loves putting people in neat little boxes, doesn't it? Good, bad, right, wrong. Simple categories for simple minds. But your true self doesn't fit in their pre-made containers. What they call your alter ego is actually just you without their restrictions, you without their labels, you without their permission. When you stop asking, who should I be, and start declaring, this is who I am, that's when you become truly dangerous to their system of control. Owning your authentic self means accepting parts of you that make others uncomfortable. Maybe you think too deeply, feel too intensely, question too persistently. Society wants to sand down these sharp edges, make you smooth and safe. But these supposedly problematic traits, they're actually your greatest strengths. Your alter ego understands this. It's not about being difficult. It's about being real. Sometimes being yourself is the most radical act of rebellion. Strength isn't always about being tough. Sometimes it's about having the courage to show vulnerability when everyone expects you to be bulletproof. Your alter ego isn't just about power. It's about authenticity in all its forms. When you stop pretending to be unbreakable and start showing your scars while standing tall, you demonstrate a kind of strength that most people can't comprehend. Breaking free from social programming requires understanding the difference between rules and reality. Most people accept limitations without questioning why they exist. But your true self, your so-called alter ego, sees these boundaries for what they are: imaginary lines drawn by those who benefit from your containment. Once you realize most social norms are just suggestions disguised as laws, you start moving through the world differently. Think about how children play before society teaches them to doubt themselves. They don't question whether they're worthy, whether they're too much, whether they're doing it right. They simply express themselves fully, without filters or fear. Your alter ego is about reclaiming that natural state of being. It's not about becoming something new. It's about returning to something original, something pure that existed before the world taught you to play small. Every time you express your authentic self, you create ripples in the social fabric. People don't know how to handle someone who refuses to follow the unwritten rules of engagement. They've been taught that certain thoughts shouldn't be spoken, certain questions shouldn't be asked, certain boundaries shouldn't be crossed. When you do these things anyway, with confidence and clarity, you force them to question their own compliance. The real power move isn't in hiding your true nature. It's in revealing it strategically. Your alter ego isn't a mask you wear. It's a mask you remove when you choose to show people who you really are. This level of authentic self-expression terrifies those who've built their entire identity around being what others expect. They can sense the freedom in your truth, and it makes them question their own chains. Understanding yourself fully means accepting both light and shadow. Society wants you to present only your polished, acceptable parts. But true strength comes from integrating every aspect of who you are. Your alter ego knows that your so-called flaws, your quirks, your intensity, these aren't bugs in your programming, they're features. They're what make you uniquely capable of changing the game entirely. Most people spend their lives trying to fit into spaces too small for their spirit. They trim away parts of themselves until they're acceptable, digestible, safe. But your alter ego understands that you weren't born to be convenient for others. You were born to be complete, complex, and occasionally disruptive to a system that values compliance over authenticity. Every time you refuse to shrink, you show others what's possible. The greatest gift your alter ego gives you isn't power or freedom. It's permission to be unapologetically yourself in a world that wants you to apologize for existing too intensely. Isn't it fascinating how a mirror shows people exactly what they fear most about themselves? When you confidently display your alter ego, you become that mirror. People look at your confidence and see their own cowardice. They see your freedom and feel the weight of their own chains. Their reactions to your alter ego? That's just them showing you their deepest insecurities, gift-wrapped in criticism and judgment. Listen carefully when people try to tear down your alter ego. Every insult they throw is actually a confession. You're too intense means they're afraid of their own power. You're being fake means they're terrified of showing their true self. You need to tone it down means they've spent their whole life being quiet, and your voice reminds them of everything they never dared to say. Their words tell you nothing about your alter ego, but everything about their own cages. Notice how quickly the labels start flying when your alter ego makes an appearance. Narcissist, they cry. Attention seeker, they whisper. Show off, they mutter. But here's the punchline. They're desperately seeking attention too, just in more socially acceptable ways. Your alter ego simply demonstrates a level of self-acceptance they can't fathom, so they try to pathologize what they can't understand. The funnier part? Watch how their body language changes when your alter ego steps into the room. Those who preach about being real and authentic suddenly become very interested in their phones. The ones always talking about speaking their truth find themselves at a loss for words. Your alter ego shows them what real authenticity looks like, and suddenly all their pretenses about being genuine fall apart. Smart people learn to read these reactions like a book. When someone gets aggressive about your confidence, they're showing you their fear of standing out. When they mock your ambition, they're revealing their own abandoned dreams. When they question your right to be different, they're exposing their own desperate need to fit in. Your alter ego becomes a psychological diagnostic tool, revealing everyone's hidden insecurities. The really delicious part comes when they try to help you be more normal. Their advice always reveals their own programming. People won't like you if means they've built their life around being liked. You'll never succeed by means they've accepted artificial limitations as truth. You should try to fit in more means they've surrendered their uniqueness for acceptance. Every suggestion is a window into their own compromise. Pay attention to who gets the most uncomfortable around your alter ego. The loudest critics, usually the ones who've sacrificed the most of themselves to fit in. The most aggressive challengers, often those who came closest to breaking free, but chose safety instead. The ones who try to save you from yourself, they're showing you exactly what they wish someone had saved them from: the pressure to conform. Want to really understand someone? Watch how they react to your alter ego's success. Those who've built their identity around playing safe will call it luck. Those who've accepted mediocrity will call it unsustainable. Those who've given up on their dreams will predict your downfall. Your achievements through your alter ego force them to confront every time they chose comfort over courage. The social food chain gets really interesting when your alter ego shows up. The self-proclaimed alphas suddenly feel threatened. The social butterflies discover their charm doesn't work on someone who sees through social games. The quiet judgers find their silent disapproval has no effect. Why? Because your alter ego exposes the fact that their social power only works on those who agree to play by their rules. Confidence hits different when it flows from your alter ego. It's not that practiced, artificial confidence that people learn in seminars. This is raw, primal certainty that radiates from knowing exactly who you are and what you're capable of. Your alter ego strips away all that social hesitation, all those learned doubts. What's left is pure, undiluted self-belief that makes others question their own certainty. Authority doesn't need badges or titles when your alter ego's in charge. Real power comes from the simple certainty that you see through the games others play. Watch how people react when they realize their usual manipulation tactics don't work on you. That moment of confusion when they notice you're not following their script. That's the birth of real influence. Your alter ego understands that true authority comes from refusing to seek permission or approval. Mystery becomes your natural state because most people can't figure out which rules you're playing by. They're used to people who either rebel completely or conform perfectly. But your alter ego, it switches between worlds effortlessly, comfortable in both chaos and order. This adaptability makes you unpredictable, and unpredictability makes you powerful. Nobody can plan against what they can't predict. Presence takes on a whole new meaning through your alter ego. It's not about being the loudest or most visible person in the room. It's about carrying yourself with such complete self-acceptance that others feel compelled to question their own masks. Your alter ego doesn't need to demand attention. It commands awareness simply by existing authentically in a world of pretense. Ever notice how a room's energy shifts when someone fully owning their power walks in? That's what your alter ego does naturally. It creates this invisible pressure that others can feel but can't quite explain. Some will call it charisma, others will call it intimidation, but really, it's just the raw force of unfiltered authenticity in a world built on filters. The unsettling effect comes from how your alter ego exposes the games people play. When you stop participating in social theater, you force others to see their own performance. It's like being the only sober person at a party. You see all the pretense, all the false bravado, all the social masks that others think are invisible. This clear vision makes them nervous because they know you can see behind their curtain. Communication changes entirely because your alter ego speaks in pure intent. No social cushioning, no unnecessary politeness, no beating around the bush. This directness is like a sharp blade cutting through the usual social fog. People aren't used to such clarity. It makes them uncomfortable because they've forgotten how to handle pure truth without all its usual social wrapping paper. Mental toughness amplifies naturally because your alter ego doesn't waste energy on social anxieties. All that power you used to spend wondering, what will they think, gets redirected into actual thinking, actual doing, actual achieving. This efficiency of mental energy creates a kind of psychological momentum that others can sense but can't quite match. Your decision-making speed accelerates because your alter ego cuts through the noise of social consideration. While others are weighing opinions, considering impressions, and managing perceptions, you're already moving. This quick, clear action often unsettles people because it shows them how much time they waste on unnecessary social calculations. Personal boundaries become unshakable because your alter ego understands that limits aren't up for negotiation. There's no need for anger or aggression, just pure, calm certainty about where you end and others begin. This kind of solid self-definition creates a force field that people can feel before they even test it. They sense that their usual boundary pushing won't work, and that realization alone changes the whole dynamic. Breaking isn't the end. It's the beginning of something far more interesting. Your alter ego emerges from these cracks, these moments when life shatters your old self into pieces. Think about how broken bones heal. They become stronger at the fracture point than they ever were before. That's what's happening inside you. Every betrayal, every failure, every moment of complete collapse becomes a point of reinforcement. Your alter ego isn't hiding these breaks. It's showcasing them as proof of your resurrection. Strength grows differently in damaged soil. Where your normal self tried to hide the scars, your alter ego understands that these marks are your credentials. Each scar tells a story of survival. Each crack shows where you refuse to shatter completely. The people who tried to break you, they didn't realize they were just helping you discover parts of yourself that only emerge under extreme pressure. Now your alter ego stands as living proof that destruction isn't the opposite of creation. It's often the beginning. Pain trains you in ways comfort never could. Your alter ego emerged from this training, learning lessons that can't be taught in safe spaces. When life stripped away everything you thought you needed, you discovered what you're actually made of. That's what intimidates people about your alter ego. It's not just strong. It's strong in ways that only come from being broken and rebuilding yourself. They see in you what they fear they couldn't survive. The transformation hits different when it comes from real damage. This isn't some motivational seminar feel-good change. This is the kind of metamorphosis that happens when life forces you to either evolve or dissolve. Your alter ego carries this evolved energy, the kind that only comes from facing complete destruction and choosing to become something new instead. That's what makes others uncomfortable. They can sense that your strength isn't theoretical. It's been tested in ways they hope they never have to face. Brokenness teaches you to read the world differently. Your alter ego sees through facades because you've learned that everything can break. Reputations, promises, certainties. This knowledge doesn't make you cynical. It makes you powerful. You stop fearing breaks because you know firsthand that broken pieces can be forged into something stronger. This understanding gives your alter ego a kind of confidence that intact people can't comprehend. Reality hits harder when you've been shattered before. Your alter ego knows that most people live in bubbles of artificial safety, pretending that if they follow the rules, life won't break them. But you've already been broken. You know the truth, that breaking isn't the worst thing that can happen. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it's even beautiful. This knowledge changes how you move through the world, and others can sense it